Hello, my people. My name is Owolabi Marcus once again. We are back. We are back, and we are back with a banger. On this episode, we'll be discussing a very sensitive topic, which is love enough? Now, basically, a lot of people think when you are in love, that is it. A lot of people believe that love should just be the only thing you need. A lot of people believe that when there is love, then everything has to work. Is it true? Is it wrong? Well, I have special guests on seats. They will be sharing their opinion, their views, and their belief on this topic. I'm going to welcome, um, ladies first, obviously, Tracy Thomas. How are you doing, Tracy?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you. It's so good to have you on.
Thank you.
All right, then I have Ladi the Great, Deepo Duarte.
Thank you.
How are you doing, my brother?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
All right, then. So I'm gonna start with you, Deepo. Pardon me. Do you think love is enough? Because okay, you want to go into a relationship, you want to marry someone. Do you think love is just all you need?
Well, from my own point of view, I think love is not everything. And the reason is very simple. If you want to get into any relationship, you try to pass your message to the lady. I mean, talking from a guy point of view,
Okay.
you try to convince her, try to promise her what you're going to do, sometimes what you're not going to do, just to have her come on your team. But maybe you even call her 10 times a day, send her texts, you know, and she'll be like, this is what love looks like for me. So I'll say that most of the time we start with a commitment. Like, I want to be committed to you. I'm not going to have any side chick or whatever. And she'll be like, oh, this looks good for me. At that point in time, that is the definition of love for her.
Of course.
So she thinks that's enough. And she want to roll with that. And that by itself is commitment. Now, when you guys now get into the relationship and everything is all rosy and stuff, you stop doing some of these things. Now, there's no consistency. That's when the first you are committed, she fall in love, and when you're not consistent, she fall out of love. You know, like I have a lady friend of mine, she was confiding in me and she said, I think I want to fight for a divorce. And I asked her, I said, why do you want to fight for a divorce? She said, she told me, she said, when I was dating my husband, before she left the house, she gave me a peck on the head. And every day I always look forward to this. Immediately she told me that immediately they got married, he stopped doing it. Comes up late, doesn't really call like before. Now, everything he has told her from the beginning that he's going to be committed,
It's changing.
It's changing. So there's no consistency. So somehow she's falling out of love. So just telling the lady like I love you doesn't really make it sound, because love is like invisible. It's what you say that is going to make it look real. So from my own point of view, I think we need more than the talk. We cannot just be doing, you talking the talk but you're not walking the walk.
More like the saying that action, not words.
Yeah, so sometimes you can say action, but action that you is not consistent. It's no more action. Sometimes Valentine, a lot of people go out and buy flowers for their partners, and after Valentine, what happened? So love is not enough. You have to keep working on it. You have to be consistent.
I am going to ask another question, obviously, but I'll leave it at that. So I'll let Tracy, share her own view on this.
I feel like you probably already know exactly how I feel.
How will I know now?
You should know because I'm sure you know that I'm into the whole fairy tale, love and all that. So of course I believe love is enough. Now the question, however, is how many people actually know the true definition of love these days? If you go by Google's definition of love or what's the Urban Dictionary, of course then love would not be enough. But I go by, I'm a Christian, and and there's an entire scripture that talks about love in the Bible. And if your love is defined by what is in that scripture, then I think love is enough. Why? Because that's the only scripture that that I've seen anywhere, the only book I've seen anywhere that properly describes what love
Love
is.
is.
You know, it's kind, it's patient, it doesn't hold grudge, and a lot of these things. Now, if both parties are in love and acting by those principles, then I think there's no limit to what they can achieve.
Okay, so I'm gonna start this with you. I mean, based on what you just said, because
Okay.
you know, religion has its own part to play,
Yeah.
obviously, but we that religious to really understand the holy books, because there it's written in the holy books that do not kill, people kill.
Yeah.
You know, do not do bad things, people do bad things. So
Yeah.
obviously it simply means people have shifted away from the way of God.
Yeah.
Now we live by, so to say, we live by our own beliefs.
Yeah.
You understand? Then I think in a way we, from this part of the world, from Africa, I won't even generalize it to Africa. I would say from Nigeria, we we misunderstood even the Western culture, because whatever they do, we want to do, and we always get it twisted. Because, for instance, you see a Rihanna wearing maybe this raunchy outfits on stage, and you want to rock it to a party. You know, she has a reason for
For
rocking it.
doing that.
Right.
You
Yeah.
understand?
Right
Then
place.
another thing is, there's this very viral video right now. You know, I think it got out like a couple of days ago, that a lady from some part in Africa, obviously not in Nigeria, she said, um, if you are married, you should not marginalize the side chick, because if you work, you tend to be busy. If you have kids, you tend to take care of them.
Hmm.
So in most cases, you get too tired to service your man.
So
So
you should
you should
appreciate.
you should let
You
the
need to
side chick
appreciate the side.
service them, so you can have a happy home. So what's your take on that?
On Okay, so are we talking about the side chick situation now, or
Exactly.
okay? So talking about that, I mean, I would never support that, of course.
Hmm.
And
Like I can tell.
yes, it's only for the reason that I would not like that to be my situation. You know,
Mm.
just there's nothing to say to actually justify that. I mean, whoever does it, that's their choice, and I'm not going to judge them for it, because I'm not supposed to judge. But that's not what I support, and that's not what I stand for. It's as
Okay.
simple as that.
All right. So, Deepa, what what do you think from the men's angle? Obviously, the good thing about this today is we have, a male and female. People of caliber, and timber and caliber, as we always say. I mean, so I can obviously, as always, I'm gonna be neutral. So you guys are gonna be doing justice today. So, Deepa, what do you think?
Well, you said, a couple of things now. So, but let me get back to the first thing she said about before I come to the side chick,
All right.
which is to me is not really relevant. That one is not really relevant. Rather, that one is based on individual,
Yeah.
principle. If you think the side chick is good for you, if you think it's not good, you can't really tell how people, we handle stuff. The lady, that's just an opinion,
Obviously.
But back to the religion part when it comes to is love enough, you know. I was there's this story I heard about a pastor having a meeting in his church with like a men's meeting, and he asked the men, that they should bring out their phone and text their wives, that just a simple